Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that has captivated humanity for decades: unidentified flying objects, or UFOs. For years, these mysterious sightings were dismissed as science fiction, relegated to the fringes of society. But something has changed. The conversation is shifting from if they exist to what are they? We're no longer just talking about blurry photos and anecdotal stories from lone witnesses in the middle of nowhere. We're talking about credible, documented encounters backed by military personnel, advanced sensor data, and even government acknowledgements. So, buckle up, because we are about to explore some of the most compelling pieces of UFO evidence that have come to light. This isn't about conspiracy theories. It's about confronting the unknown with facts and credible testimony. Let's start with what has arguably been the biggest game changer in recent history: the Pentagon's official release of UFO videos. You've probably heard of them: the FLIR, gimbal, and go fast videos. These aren't grainy, shaky cam footage from someone's backyard. These were captured by some of the most advanced military hardware on the planet, operated by elite US Navy fighter pilots. In the FLIR video, we see a dark, tic-tac shaped object maneuvering in ways that defy our understanding of physics. It accelerates instantaneously and makes turns that would be impossible for any known aircraft. Commander David Fravor, one of the pilots who witnessed this object firsthand, described it as like nothing I've ever seen. He's a seasoned FA-18 pilot, not someone prone to exaggeration. His testimony, along with that of his wingman, provides a powerful human element to the cold, hard sensor data. Then there's the gimbal video. In this footage, we hear the pilot's genuine astonishment as they track an object that appears to rotate against the wind without any visible means of propulsion. One pilot exclaims, "Look at that thing!" And there's a whole fleet of them. The object's movement is so strange, so otherworldly, that the highly trained pilots are left completely bewildered. The Go Fast video shows a small, fast-moving object zipping just above the surface of the water, another feat that baffles aviation experts. The key takeaway from these videos is not just the objects themselves, but the reaction of the professionals encountering them. These aren't just blips on a screen. They are tangible, real-world events that left the best of the best completely stumped. When the Pentagon officially declassified and released these videos, it was a landmark moment. It was the government saying, yes, this is real, and we don't know what it is. This official acknowledgement didn't stop with a few videos. In June 2021, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a preliminary report on what the government now calls unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP. This report analyzed 144 incidents reported by US government sources, mostly military pilots, between 2004 and 2021. The conclusion? They could only explain one of them. It was a large deflating balloon. The other 143 cases remained unexplained. The report explicitly stated that these UAP clearly pose a flight safety issue and may pose a challenge to US national security. It detailed how these objects exhibited unusual flight characteristics, including remaining stationary in high winds, moving against the wind, maneuvering abruptly, or moving at considerable speed, all without discernible propulsion. This wasn't a fringe blog post. This was an official document from the highest levels of US intelligence, admitting that there are things in our skies that we cannot identify and that perform in ways we cannot replicate. The momentum has continued to build. In 2022 and 2023, Congress held public and classified hearings on UAP. High-ranking intelligence officials like the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security, Ronald Moultrie, and the Director of Naval Intelligence, Scott Bray, testified before lawmakers. They confirmed that the number of UAP reports was increasing, now totaling over 500. They presented new video clips, one showing a spherical object zipping past a fighter jet's cockpit. While they stressed that they had found no evidence of extraterrestrial origins, they also repeatedly admitted that they couldn't explain what many of these objects were. The very fact that these conversations are happening in the halls of Congress, in open session for the public to see, marks a profound shift. The stigma that has surrounded this topic for so long is finally beginning to crumble. Perhaps one of the most explosive developments came in July 2023, with the testimony of a former intelligence official named David Grush. Grush, a veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and the National Reconnaissance Office, came forward as a whistleblower. Under oath before a congressional subcommittee, he made a series of extraordinary claims. He alleged that the US government has been running a secret, multi-decade UAP recovery program and is in possession of non-human craft and even biologics. According to Grush, this information has been illegally withheld from Congress. His testimony sent shockwaves through the world. While his claims are, for now, just that, claims, they come from an individual with a high-level security clearance and a track record of credibility. He wasn't alone at that hearing. He was joined by two of the very pilots we discussed earlier, Commander David Fravor and former Navy pilot Ryan Graves. Ryan Graves' testimony added another critical layer to this puzzle. He described his FA-18 squadron's regular encounters with UAP off the coast of Virginia starting in 2014. He said these sightings were so frequent that they became part of the daily briefings. He described the objects as dark grey or black cubes inside a clear sphere, which would remain completely stationary in hurricane force winds and then accelerate to supersonic speeds. Graves emphasized the safety risk, recounting a near-miss incident between one of these objects and a squadron jet. His point was clear. This isn't a theoretical or distant phenomenon. It's a real and present issue for our military pilots. When you combine the sophisticated sensor data, the declassified videos, the official government reports, and now the sworn testimony of credible insiders and eyewitnesses, the picture becomes impossible to ignore. Let's also look beyond the United States. This is a global phenomenon. Countries like France, Chile, Brazil, and the United Kingdom have all declassified their own UFO files over the years, revealing thousands of cases. France's GEPAN, a unit within its space agency, has been investigating UFO sightings since the 1970s and has a wealth of data on unexplained cases. In Chile, their official government agency, the CFAA, concluded after a multi-year investigation of a famous case from 2014 that an object filmed by a Navy helicopter was a real physical object with controlled movements that could not be explained by any known phenomenon. The fact that multiple independent governments and military organizations around the world are observing similar things adds significant weight to the evidence. This isn't just an American story, it's a human story. So, where does this all leave us? The evidence is no longer just anecdotal. We have moved into an era of data. We have radar data, infrared sensor data, and high-resolution video. We have testimony from some of the most credible observers imaginable. Fighter pilots whose lives depend on their ability to accurately identify what's in the sky. And we have governments around the world, including the US, admitting they don't have the answers. The term UFO doesn't automatically mean alien spaceship. It simply means unidentified. These objects could represent breakthrough technology from another country, some unknown natural atmospheric phenomenon, or something else entirely. But many of the observed characteristics, transmedium travel from air to water, instantaneous acceleration, and flight without visible propulsion or control surfaces, push the boundaries of our current scientific and technological understanding. The conversation has fundamentally changed. It's no longer a question of do UFOs exist? The data proves they do. The real questions now are, what are they? Where do they come from? And what are their intentions? We are living in an unprecedented time where the veil of secrecy is slowly being lifted. As more data is collected and more witnesses feel empowered to come forward, we may be on the cusp of one of the most profound discoveries in human history. It's an exciting and perhaps slightly unnerving time to be alive. The search for answers is no longer confined to the shadows. It's happening in the open, and it's a journey we are all a part of. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive today. What do you think is the most compelling piece of evidence? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this exploration and want to stay updated on this unfolding story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We'll be tracking all the latest developments as they happen. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.